What makes you think the nightmare with Donald Trump and his lawmaking and violent mobs is over? If we let him get away with it, and then it comes to your state capitol, or it comes back here again, what are we going to say?
He poses a continuing threat to our nation, to the integrity of our elections, and to our democratic order.
I will do everything I can to ensure that the former president never again gets anywhere near the Oval Office. We have seen the danger that he continues to provoke with his language.
Hi again, everyone. It's 5 o'clock in the East. So the danger, the rhetoric that Democrats and Liz Cheney spoke of there, the rhetoric they've been warning about for months now, was on full display this weekend as the disgraced ex-president took the stage at CPAC. That's the Conservative Political Action Conference in Dallas. In a speech that lasted 1.5 hours, Trump repeatedly claimed he won the 2020 election. Fact check, he did not win. He cited evidence that there was voter fraud in states he lost, like Georgia. Fact check, there was not. Trump's disinformation about the election has become so egregious that his own favorite network, Fox News, had to put a disclaimer on the screen while he talked about how many votes he received. Fox's Chiron, those are the words underneath, stayed up for 35 seconds, and it read, quote, "Voting system companies have denied the various allegations made by Trump and his counsel regarding the 2020 election." So the network has been sued by 2 voting systems companies in recent months for defamation. And even after guests and anchors on the network spread the conspiracy theory that voting machines were rigged in favor of Biden. While the network wanted to protect itself against any further legal liability, its broadcasting of lies around the deadly insurrection still knows no bounds. Hours before his CPAC speech, Trump was interviewed on Fox, where he warmly embraced the hundreds of rioters who stormed the Capitol. Trump called them, quote, great people, and described Ashley Babbitt, the insurrectionist who was shot by police while trying to get through a broken door to reach the lawmakers, an innocent, wonderful, incredible woman. The lies Trump spread this weekend are exactly the type of lies and language that prosecutors are now citing in court filings to detain accused rioters. We saw this in a court filing against insurrectionist Alex Harkrider just on Friday. Quote, "Former President Trump continues to make false claims about the election, insinuate that he may be reinstalled in the near future as president without another election, and minimize the violent attack on the Capitol. Television networks continue to carry and report on those claims, with some actually giving credence to the false reporting. The defendant in this case is not a good candidate to be out in the community without electronic monitoring to ensure the safety of the community and the safety of democracy in the current environment. There's also the ongoing heightened threat of domestic extremism from these lies, from that still active terrorism advisory bulletin put out by the Department of Homeland Security that says this, quote, ideologically motivated violent extremists fueled by perceived grievances, false narratives, and conspiracy theories continue to share information online with the intent to incite violence. One place we're seeing Trump's lies manifest in frightening ways is Pennsylvania, where a Republican state senator is requesting ballots, voting machines, computer logs, and more to do a forensic audit of the election result there, like the one underway in Maricopa County, Arizona. A little over a week ago, we saw white supremacists march in Philadelphia chanting, "Reclaim America," and the election was stolen in matching outfits. The ongoing threat from the ex-president's lies is where we start this hour with Pennsylvania Attorney General Josh Shapiro. So I know you took in this weekend's news. Tell me what you think, and if you have any increased concerns about sort of the force behind what Trump's allies in the state Senate there want to do.
Well, I've always been concerned about the words, including the words that were used at CPAC this weekend, that those words can lead to real dangers in our communities. Hell, it was just a week or so ago that you had white supremacists marching through the city of Philadelphia, spewing the same lies that Donald Trump and his enablers spewed. There's a real danger to these words, and you can draw a straight line between the big lie, between this rhetoric, and the lawsuits that we beat back in Pennsylvania, the ongoing efforts to disenfranchise voters, especially our black and brown voters here in Pennsylvania, the violent insurrection on January the 6th. You can draw a direct line between that. This is serious stuff. It's dangerous. And I want to caution everybody, do not think that these people who are speaking at CPAC and these people who are showing up in your Twitter feed are just bananas or goofy or crazy. These are seriously dangerous figures with real power in the modern day Republican Party.
And some of their power is derived from their public offices. Mr. State Senator Doug Mastriano, who has designs on running for governor, is spearheading an attempt to commence an Arizona-style audit there. I know in the past you've said he'll have to go through you. Can you tell us where his efforts stand and if you're still confident you can thwart them?
The state senator issued a demand letter to 3 counties in Pennsylvania requesting the private voting information of 997,000 Pennsylvania voters. If these counties were to comply and turn over all of the materials that the state senator has demanded, that would cost the taxpayers just in those 3 counties up to $30 million in equipment that they would have to replace. The Secretary of State, the governor, and myself have all urged these counties not to comply, and there's no evidence that they are willing to comply with the state senator's demand. Understand that he is one of the biggest purveyors of the big lie, and he does it at the behest of Donald Trump, not to try and learn any information. What we know is we had a safe, secure, free, and fair election here in Pennsylvania that has been audited twice already, that Joe Biden won by about 80,000 votes.
Is there any appropriate role for the Department of Justice in helping to thwart a third? As you said, there have already been 2 audits of that vote count. Is there any role in not handing over the ballots to Mr. Mastriano in the way that the Arizona ballots I think are on a multi-state tour now?
Understand that if the senator were to move forward and try and, say, subpoena these materials, I expect that there would be significant litigation here in Pennsylvania. And again, I've been to court 42 times now to defend the right to vote and the will of the people of Pennsylvania. We've won every single time that we've been challenged by Donald Trump and his enablers. We'll win again. But your question more broadly is there a role for the Department of Justice? Absolutely. And it's one of the reasons why I've been pleased to see them begin to speak out on these issues. I'm thrilled that the President of the United States is coming to Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love and sisterly affection, tomorrow to speak about these issues. This is the most important issue we face, and that is protecting our democracy. The challenges that we face in Pennsylvania, from infrastructure to education, none of these issues can be addressed if lawmakers are diverting their attention to trying to destroy our democracy, and the people's will won't be heard if they don't have the ability to choose their own leaders. And what the Republicans in Pennsylvania are trying to do right now is take away their ability to have free and fair elections to elect the leaders that they want.
Well, and they're winning. I mean, there are 389 laws making their way through 48 states. The only one that's been stalled or slowed is Texas's law, not because Democrats will ultimately prevail, but because they keep leaving. They're on a plane right now from Austin on their way to Washington to, again, deprive Governor Abbott of a quorum there so that a bill can pass through for him to sign. But the truth is, as malevolent as it is, the Republican push to enact voter suppression laws predicated on a lie also includes voter nullification laws, and we've talked about this, that would remove the likes of Brad Raffensperger from the decision-making tree. Without federal voting rights legislation, how do you protect, how do you guard the will of the people in the Commonwealth?
It is clear that Washington is not going to get the job done, and this issue is being left to the states. And I would just respectfully push back slightly on what you said. They're not winning here in Pennsylvania. They're not winning because we've beat them in court, and they're not winning because we have a Democratic governor who will veto any of these bills if it reaches his desk. And we must keep that veto pen in the governor's office to beat back these attempts to try and change rules. Understand, these Republicans, at the behest of Donald Donald Trump keep trying to change the rules to make it harder for certain people's voices to be heard in our democracy, to try and rig the system in favor of them and their buddies. That is not something, as the Attorney General of Pennsylvania, I will allow. It's not something that the governor will allow. And so while they may be scoring some victories in certain states like Georgia, they're not going to win here in Pennsylvania. What is clear, though, is that the action is in the states. The need to defend our democracy is all across the country, but it's happening in state capitals with actors like governors, state lawmakers, and attorneys general.
I welcome the pushback. I am glad that Pennsylvania is a bright spot, and I thank you, Pennsylvania's Attorney General Josh Shapiro. Thank you for spending some time with us today.